The scriptures really are the richest treasure that we have on this earth. They are so just replete with wisdom and endless in what they can teach us, endless in the depths that we can plumb and draw life from. I mean, really, it's just, I'm never cease to be amazed at how this book can continue to deliver year after year, decade after decade, century after century, and people never exhaust what can be discovered there. It really is so much like the character of God himself, in that, like for centuries and millennia, there are creatures around the throne of God who are continually awakened to the glory and the majesty of the one that they serve. Like day and night, they cry, holy, 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 other than, beyond any description, beyond any conception. This being that we call Father, this being that we call God, is way beyond anything that we can ever begin to conceive. And yet, he is here with us. He is in our hearts. He is in our life. We are connected to him, related to him, and he has given us his words. And I think that this is the secret weapon that we have. It's not necessarily our education or our history, our prowess or our personality. Although all of these come into play, God did not violate the men and the women that he used to record his words in the book. He worked with them. He inspired and filled them and guided them in what they did. And he inspires, fills, and guides us in what we do as well. And this is the differentiator. It really is the presence of God, the presence of the greater one who lives in us. And he is rooting for your breakthrough. He is absolutely planning and has planned for your prosperity. Proverbs teaches that we shouldn't lean on our own understanding, but commit our works to the Lord, that our thoughts might be established. I like the Passion translation of the verse. It says, before you do anything, put your trust in God and not in yourself, and every plan you make will succeed. And then kind of a marginal rendering of this is literally commit your business to the Lord. So instead of hustling, we start hearing. Jesus said that he did nothing that he didn't first see the Father doing. And through that vital connection he had with heaven, he didn't take one step apart from the blessing of God. Because of that, his steps were established, confident and unfaltering. Now, I wish I could say the same thing about myself, but despite my fumbling efforts at times, I am still learning to prize myself away from this stubborn self-reliance. It's a really clinging habit that I need to break, and I'm sure many of you would relate to that. This addiction to do it myself. It really deserves its own 12-step program. But but at the same time as kind of some of my less successful efforts in that direction, I have been learning to lean more fully on God. And the results of that, leaning on him, leaning on his wisdom and leaning on his direction, are evident in our lives. Say in partnership with Jesus, we've really built a tremendously fulfilling, satisfying lifestyle business from the ground up. And it's really furnished us financially in ways that were previously unheard of for us. And to be honest, if you'd known me back in the day and my aversion to business, you would absolutely recognize that it's totally a miracle of God's grace at work in our lives. And so I think there are two things that committing our business to the Lord means for us. It means, number one, that we recognize that our business ultimately belongs to Him. And number two, that we accept that He is the senior partner and that He is passionately committed to our success. And so from this place of confidence in God's commitment to us, in this place of confidence in God's commitment to you, it becomes a great deal easier to commit to Him. We're not holding on to things in the same way because we trust that His hand, that these things in His hand will be much better administrated than if they are merely in ours. Carrying on reading there in Proverbs 16, again from the Passion Translation, verse 20 says, a person who is skilled in business discovers prosperity, which is great news, but the verse isn't complete. It goes on to say, but the one who trusts in God will be blessed beyond belief. There's over and above. God plans to give you a future and a hope, to prosper everything that you do. And this is intimately tied to your intimacy with Him. That verse from Jeremiah 29:11, very popular verse for some, that's the promise box one that they reach for. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. But then the verse actually continues. The context of this is this vital connection that we've been talking about. Then you will call upon me, it continues in verse 12. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Seeking God is not a diversion from our business activities. It is a business activity. He is a great businessman. He is in the business of supplying the entire world. Yeah, He is in the business of raising people up to raise people up. He is in the business of building people. He's in the business of building you. He can make the darkest and most hopeless situations turn around and become hopeful. He was able to turn the cross into the instrument of victory as opposed to the instrument of death. There is nothing that God cannot do. And with Him on our side, who honestly can be against us? And so spending time in consultation with Him and not, it doesn't slice precious hours from our productivity. It really is the source and the fount of all of our future success. And so spiritual commitment really forms a foundation upon which we can then confidently build our business for many years to come. And thankfully, our Father's activity isn't confined behind church walls. His presence and counsel have been woven in to the very fabric of our lives. I love the Hebrew meaning. I love the Hebrew meanings of this word commit. If you look them up in the kind of theological word book or Strong's, there are a number of different facets to this word commit. And one of them is to wallow. To wallow. And I've just got this picture of wallowing in the wisdom of God. In the same way as you might climb in a hot tub and sit back and let the warmth fill your body, and just relax and just let the concerns of the day drift away. We can wallow in the wisdom of God. It's not something we don't just want to take a quick shower. Yeah. We don't just want to dip our toe. We want to climb in, and we want to fully commit and fully immerse ourselves in the wonder of God's word. And another one is to roll together. You know, like there's this idea of like rolling together with God, you know, committing ourselves one to another and allowing Him to take us on an adventure. You know, what are your plans for today? What hopes do you hold for your growth and your prosperity? You know, and if like me, you still have like the vestiges of that addiction to do it myself, you know, we want to make sure that we don't get robbed of these beyond belief blessings that the scriptures talk about, you know, as a result of wholehearted commitment to building God's kingdom. Yeah, building our business, building our lives, building our families in conjunction and in connection and friendship and partnership with the King. Well, thanks for listening. Hopefully it's been an encouragement to you today. If you want to connect any further, you can do so through my website at davidleemartin.com. Have a great day.